If I try one out, they're going to be bad. They're going to screw me over. I'm going to get screwed on a job. And it's like when I'm thinking, okay, I need to call 3 subs today and try to set up an interview with one, call subs until I set up 1 or 2 interviews this week, whatever, that's my goal. And it's like when I procrastinate on that, it's because I'm afraid. I'm afraid because I have this belief that they're going to screw me over. And it's like kind of crazy to think the brain is saying, don't die. It's like, no, I'm not going to die. Like, we're not going to die if we use the wrong sub. Like, we're not going to die if we try out a sub and the job doesn't go well. Like, that's not death. Like, this is what we need to do in order to thrive. Maybe it'll happen, but like, we learn from mistakes. So it's better to just keep trying, because eventually it's like, instead of looking at it like, you know, what is like the animal with claws in the brush that are going to kill me? What if I get the water from the watering hole and we're all able to like survive and be nourished?
All right, welcome to the Painting Business Pro podcast. I'm your host, Ben Landusky. I'm on with the owner and operator of the Paintly Company, Steve Burnett. Steve, thanks for being on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for this convo. So I just got to ask you first, what the Paintly Company, how'd you come up with that name?
You know, it's funny. I get that question all the time, and I wish that there was a cooler story to it. We literally randomly did like a random name generator, and it popped up, and we liked it. That's the story. Well, it's funny because before we were Paintly, I was Superior Custom Painting, and when I came up with the logo and the name for that, I put a whole lot of time into it, like overthinking it. And this time we were like, we just want something clean, and we want something that's simple, and I loved it. Like, it was just so simple and clean. And we had someone on Fiverr come up with like the logo, and we were like, this is awesome. It's an awesome logo, and we participated in like, this is what we want, things like that, brand colors. But we didn't overthink it, but we just knew what we wanted, something simple and clean.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, it's a unique one. I like it. That's fun.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, so just give us a quick history, man. Like, how'd you get into the painting world? How'd you start the Paintly Company? When you join PvP, just kind of your quick history.
Yeah. All right, I'll try to be quick. So 2012.
Okay.
2012, I was working in restaurant. I was waiting tables, and a buddy of mine who worked at the restaurant with me was my roommate. He had a family member who inherited some houses through a death in the family, and they were going to hire contractors and stuff. And we were like, no, like we'll just do it. We took a couple weeks off of the restaurant, went and painted those houses, and I was like, this is way better than waiting tables. So that's we got excited, we got really ambitious, and we printed off flyers and started handing them out in neighborhoods, and we won a job just going door to door like that. And we were in way over our heads. I mean, we were like, YouTube University, like, how do we cut in, and we learned pretty quick that like, we definitely overpromised, and we learned really quick, like, okay, there's some more stuff that we need to learn if we really want to do this. So we backed off a little bit, but I didn't want to go back to waiting tables, so I hopped on a crew and learned everything about painting working on this crew. And ever since I started painting, as soon as people started to find out, they were like, oh, come take a look. Like, how it goes, like, oh, come take a look at this. Oh, how much to paint this? And I was good at painting, and people liked me, so I had work. And for a long time, it was about just making sure that I had work. And then for a while, the biggest hump to get over was getting out of the field. And once I started, right around 2019, that's when I became like Superior Custom Painting, and this guy hired me, and we painted one of his rental houses, and he was like asking me all these questions, like, oh, what are your margins? What are you paying your subs? Do you use subs? Like, he had all these questions, and it turns out he was interested in getting in the industry. And so we had a couple cups of coffee and talked about some ideas. And that's where, we came up with the Paintly Company, and we rebranded in 2019. And over the past 6 years, it's just been about like trying to professionalize. And I've tried this, I've tried that. I've got like, I'm kind of like getting over that hump of being stuck in that like 500K range. And so, I ended up, that business partner and I ended up splitting up, which is fine. It was totally like, handshakes, everything was good. It was just, we went different directions. And, and so I joined PvP. I started to become interested in it because I was in like other coaching programs, but I still couldn't get past that 500K mark. And so I saw, all of Eric's, I feel like this is so common to hear, saw all of Eric's videos.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I just resonate with everything that this guy is saying, So I started looking into the program and I figured I would just check out the accelerator course, and I graduated up to mastery like really quickly. Um, and it was I was just like, hey, I need to just figure out, I need to simplify, because I don't know what to focus on. There's like so many different things I can hit the gas on as a business owner. Do I do marketing? Do I go out to a job site? Do I interview a sub or start looking for subs? How do I start looking for subs? What's the best way to do it? So it's like, what do I focus on today? And I was actually really surprised about how the course really helps to focus on what that, basically there's like one thing that you got to focus on, and you put 110% in that. And the course really does a good job of like looking at everything and kind of pinpointing, hey, this is the thing you need to like focus on right now. So
Hmm.
it's been really helpful. Yeah.
Nice. When did you join PvP?
January this year,
Oh, that's right.
2025.
Yeah, you said that. Okay, January
Yeah,
this
yeah.
year. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay, so you just like found Eric on YouTube and started watching his free stuff and
Yeah,
just
he was like all up in my emails, like on social
yeah,
media. And then
yeah.
I saw him at the PCA, what was it, the PCA event, PCA Expo. And this was after I joined Accelerator actually. But I got to meet him there, and I chatted with him and
Nice.
saw his presentation, was just really impressed by everything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. So how's this year gone so far? Has this been a good year for you?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been it's been good. It's been trying. It's been a lot of, really rewarding. It's been a lot of hard work. Basically, like I've been looking at the things and working out the things that I've been, I guess I didn't realize this, but kind of avoiding
Hmm.
and like afraid of, or like didn't think that I know how to do it. So it's
Hmm.
been good though. It's been really good because I know that I'm focusing on the things that I need to be focusing on, that like the hard work is going to pay off, and it makes sense.
Yeah, good. What are your, just everyone loves to hear the numbers. What revenue are you at right now, and then what do you think you'll end at for the year?
Yeah, so we're actually on, we're on track. We're just a little bit below track to like hit 600K. That's the goal. I think we're at like 375 for the year so far
Hmm.
right now. Sales, and a little bit more than that. I think 385 for production, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Um,
So you had
yeah,
some
yeah, we had
rollover
like,
from last year.
yeah, we had quite a bit of rollover from last year. And sales boomed in like May, and then it was all about trying to figure out production, and things slowed down there, but production had like some booming months. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's kind of,
Nice.
yeah,
Okay,
that's where
cool.
we're at. We're on track there. Yeah.
Yeah. What have you I mean I'm sure you could go off for a while, but what have
Yeah.
you learned? What are the mistakes you've made this year and what have you learned, just to use going into 2026?
Um, I can't. So like one of the biggest things was I found that I was with subcontractors, and like with my main crew specifically, um, I can't be managing someone's I can't be stuck managing somebody's feelings, and I have to manage my business.
Hmm. Say
And
more
to like
about
add
that.
to
Yeah.
add context to that, right? So I have this one crew that I use, and I've been hesitant about like finding other crews and interviewing other crews. I'm like, oh, what if they're not good? Like I have all these views I need to work on, that I'm working on. And it was like, all right, well, I'm kind of like chained to this one crew, like kind of handcuffed to this one crew because they're so good. And we kind of fell into this like thing where I wasn't really following like the right processes of like how to deal with like a sub. Like I was doing a lot more for them, spending a lot of time doing a lot more, making sure that that crew is happy. um and I kind of got to a point this year where I was like, is this really because I'm investing in this relationship, or is it because is it based in fear? And I realized it's based in fear of losing them and what I would do without that crew. And so I realized the big thing I needed to work on is increasing my production capacity, finding more subs, and developing a network of subs. Um, so that's what I've been working on this year. So
Okay.
yeah.
Nice. So how many do you have more subs now or what's the
Yes. So things started churn. So things really started churning in so May. I sold like 96K in May, and I was like, okay, I need to find more subs. What am I going to do?
Mm,
And so I started, and I followed the course, and started posting on Craigslist, posting in the Facebook groups, calling them, meeting up with some of them for coffee, and I was actually pretty surprised at how quickly my schedule can fill up. With interviewing, so I'm like, oh, I'm not going to find anybody who's going to, like, tons of people respond. It's like, okay, I need to like
yeah,
figure out how to pick which ones to respond to, or so
yeah.
um so I there was like one crew of two guys who was really awesome, another crew of anywhere from 5 to 8 guys. I started using him, and he knocked out a few big jobs, a couple exteriors, and I started like using these other crews, and I was like, at one point in time we had like 12 painters in the field, and I was like, this is amazing. And but it was like a lot, because I'm like, I've never, like, there's only been like little points in time where I've managed this much going on at once before. So like learning how to like master my time and figure out where, I need to spend my time. Like, okay, I can't be in three places at once. I can't like go start every single job with them. Do I really even need to be there to start these jobs? What can I do to set them up for success? Like, how can these work orders look? What kind of people, what should I look for in subs to make sure that they're able to handle these things without me having to like hold their hand or do it for them? Because like they're subs, like they should be able to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did, I painted jobs for years, and it was not a problem for me to like run up to a paint store.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and
So
I think that's, well, sorry, go, oh, keep going.
no, go ahead. I want to
Well,
hear
I
what you say.
just was going to underline, well, a couple things. One, yeah, how do how do I as a business owner set up my subcontractors for success? And am I relating to them as like I've got to hold their hand through the whole thing, or am I relating to them as they're business owners? They own a business. They have ABC Painting LLC set up, like they are business owners. And so giving them trust, giving them leadership, I guess you could say, giving them the confidence to run jobs, without you having to hold their hand. It's critical. If you're interested in scaling, that is, it's
Yeah.
critical, right?
Yes.
So you feel like you've started to master that, or is that work in progress? It's always a work in
Definitely.
progress, but yeah.
Definitely work in progress. I don't know if I've started to master it, but I've noticed that my relationship, so like my main guy Carlos, like my relationship with him became better over the literally, this is very recent. Because I started using these other crews, and then it led to a
Hmm.
point where there were a couple of jobs where I'm like, Carlos might not actually be the best guy for this job right now, and I put other crew, so I started putting more crews on jobs. And there was like a week where I didn't have work for Carlos, and I had a conversation with him about that. He's aware I was using other crews, and so it kind of caused like a little bit of a rift here. He started picking up some work for some other people, and I was just kind of like, okay, cool, like, great, you know what I mean? I get it, and then there was like this really tough, like, hey, what are we going to do? Like, we kind of started to address these problems, because like I would, like, you were talking about like holding their hand and doing all these things. Like, I was doing all those things thinking like in the beginning, like, this is how I can set them up for success, and be like a really good relationship for them. But then like after a while I realized like I'm kind of stuck in some ways here, and like the relationship is kind of operating on a system that's not really like best for scaling, like you mentioned.
Hmm.
And how do I just break these things? Like, how do I just stop doing these things? And so like I kind of did it by getting relationships with other subs and setting them up for work, and actually following the right process with them, and kind of seeing like, oh, this is actually better for both of us. Like, they have the autonomy to like go do whatever they need to do to get the job done. They don't have to like call me or worry about me. And so as I started to try to implement that with Carlos, he was kind of like, what's going on, dude? Like, where are you at? Like, what do you mean I just have to deal with it? You know what I mean? And so like there was like this like communication breakdown. But then we had a couple more conversations. We had a few conversations that were very in depth and very rewarding, where we got on the same page. And he's like,
Nice.
yeah, he's like, if you can just keep lining me up, like, I'll do whatever you need me to do. Like, this is how I feel about pay. And I'm like, okay, well, this is what I can do. And so we worked it out, and things are operating more smoothly now because I started following a more effective model.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
but I was also prepared to like lose him as a sub, because like the rift, I'm like, hey
Good.
man, he might
Yep.
find that he's finding other work. That's fine. I need to double down on finding subs, and I was prepared to do that, and things just ended up
Yeah.
working out. So
Yeah. Well,
so
you're
yeah.
hitting on the two sides of recruiting subs and just building out your production model. One is you've got to get into the rhythm of recruiting, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for those listening, it's like you've got to find that rhythm of where you want to in some ways always be recruiting, always be replacing your subs that you're kind of tolerating that don't do the best work all the time with better subs. And you
Mm-hmm.
also never want to be pigeonholed by like one sub. I mean, I think almost everybody has dealt with that. So you always
Yeah.
want to be recruiting. At the same time, you don't need to just give up on who you're working with right now. But so having that,
Right.
you're talking about the clear communication and the conversations you had with Carlos, that's
Mm-hmm.
critical. Like if you talk to your subs like real human beings, which is what they are,
Yeah.
um, and you see that there's a win-win here for you and your subs, like it's a win-win. It's like, look, Carlos, if you can handle the communication and doing final walks and like really taking care of our clients, if you
Mm-hmm.
can handle that, and I can work on sales and continue to line up the next job for you, we both can win here. I'll
Yeah.
manage the sales, you manage production, so to speak.
Yep.
And yeah, the right ones who want to make good money and scale their business as well, like they're gonna take on that level of leadership that you're asking them for. And the ones that don't, like you just said so perfectly, so it's okay. Some you will walk away from. You will say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this just doesn't work out, and that's okay too. But so I just to underline, it's like rhythm of recruiting, always be recruiting and have that conversation with subs. Like talk to them about, hey, here's what I'm asking you to do more and here's why, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
can take on this, and this with the job, with the client, I can now spend more time working on marketing and sales to get you more and more jobs. So you just have jobs lined up throughout the year. And that's just such a win-win. Like everybody wants that. But you got
Yeah.
to have that conversation with people. And sometimes it takes a few conversations with
Yeah.
a sub to kind of get that through.
And it's so much easier to do it when you're starting a relationship than one that you've already had like
Yeah.
these habits in,
Yeah.
and that was what was really
Totally.
tough. That was what was really tough about it. Yeah. Yeah, you're so right.
Well, that's another, I mean, just you're saying a lot of good stuff. So the other thing so recruiting, whether it's a subcontractor, a production manager, a sales rep, setting expectations early, and also, especially when it comes to employees, training them the right way early is abundantly more effective and saves you so much more time as opposed to doing it kind of half-assed or kind of just like getting someone out there and then having to retrain them or reset expectations later. You
Mm-hmm.
can do it and you will have to, but it takes so much more time and effort and more
Mm-hmm.
friction when you don't do it right the first time.
And I
So
feel like I feel like that's what's happening with me as a like myself as a project manager. Like following the
yeah,
course and like setting up the calendar and doing those things every day and you know basically training myself with the PBP course how to be a project manager has been new, and it's
yeah,
like I'm breaking old habits and starting to learn new ones, and I'm like I kind of found that like I wasn't, I'm a people person, and you know I wasn't a very good manager. Like I wasn't a very good project
hmm
manager. So like that's what I'm learning now is like I need to be more efficient
yeah,
at being a manager here. So with the
yeah.
recruiting, yeah. Yep.
Nice, man. Well, and just so what are you doing for time management? Like, how are you managing your time and becoming more efficient as a business owner?
Yeah. So I'm looking at my calendar like every week and I'm setting up my calendar. Like I follow the master your time in the training course has been huge for me. And even some of
Yep,
the leadership series stuff like the trade principle. So
yep,
like you know, we're filling up our days with stuff every day. We all have the same 24 hours a day. So it's like,
yeah,
what am I filling up? Like how intentional am I being? How effective are those things that I'm spending time on? And for like people listening, what master your time training is all about is like looking, you basically figure out what your life commitments are and you plot everything out on the calendar, like time blocking things. So like
yep,
if I'm going to spend 20 hours a week on sales and 20 hours a week on project managing, where is that? And how can it be more effective? And so that's what I've been looking at is like, okay, if I'm going to schedule, okay, these are the times in the week where I'm going to schedule my estimates. And like if I'm on the phone with somebody and I'm setting up an estimate and they're in Plymouth, Michigan, like I'm not going to schedule it on Tuesday right after I'm out on the other side of the my zone, like in Grosse Pointe or
Yeah.
something, so like I'm trying to be more effective at like, how can I just be the most efficient with my time? Like, how can I get the most with using the least amount of resources, kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's huge. So if there's one thing to take away from this podcast, it's mastering time.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, dude, it's the foundation for everything. So it's good to hear you doing that. I mean, it starts with life commitments and yeah, what are you really committed to this year? What are you committed to this
Hmm.
next quarter? Not just in business, but in your whole life.
Yeah.
And then taking all those plot points and plotting them on the map, like getting them in the calendar. Yeah, how am I going to do all this? And then auditing that, like, okay, I did it all, but it took
Hmm.
me 70 hours. How do I do it all, but do it in 60 and then 50 and
Hmm.
then 30? And there is, if you slow down enough and use your brain, you can actually save yourself so much time, no matter where you're at. You can
Yeah.
always be more efficient. Like, oh, it's a mountain with no top. Like, you can
Mm.
always be more efficient. So
Yeah.
it's really great. And then, yeah, I'll just say, I mean, I look at my calendar, I mean, 20, 30 times a day. I look at my Google Calendar as my virtual assistant.
Yeah.
Like, they tell me I don't know what's next. Like, let me look. Oh, I got a podcast with Steve. I got to prep for it. That's what I'm doing now,
Yeah.
And now I have a podcast and I don't need to know what's going on my phone because my calendar tells me what's going on, you
Yeah.
know? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's awesome. I was afraid it was going to be like really rigid, and like it's actually very
Yeah,
freeing. It's very
it is,
freeing.
man. Yeah. I was such a non-planner. Eric's always been like very just fundamentally great with planning. Back in the
Hmm.
day, like I just resisted it because I was like, what about spontaneity? And I like to just, I don't want a calendar. I just want to like do stuff. And it was very short-sighted because I would let a lot of people down. I'd let myself down. Um, but now I plan out everything so well where, yeah, if I want to take off a Friday, I can take a Friday. I can be spontaneous. And I'm actually going to take this Friday off with my
Yeah.
wife and kid, but I know
Nice.
what I'm missing. It's like, okay, I'm not going to do these four things. So then I need to do them earlier or communicate with people if I'm going to do them later because I'm going to take this day off. So you
Yeah.
get the best of both worlds. You can still be spontaneous and have fun, but you also still get to fulfill your commitments in life.
Yeah.
So
Because
it's a win-win.
it's like all the things that you're going to do are all the things that you're going to do, but you might not get to do all of them. But if you're efficient, you can get so much more out of it. It's like a puzzle box with all the pieces in it. And then like mastering your time, like doing the mastering your time calendar is literally like taking those pieces and putting them together and like making
Yeah,
them work.
yeah,
It's so easy to
yeah, dude.
plan and reschedule things, and also like the life commitments part of it, like by writing down my life commitments and like really taking the time to like see that and like resonate with that and be like, yes, these are the things that are important to me in my life. These are the things I'm committed to, dedicated to. These things are worth spending my time on, and because they're
Yeah,
worth spending my time on, it helps me with making decisions of what I'm going to do. Like, what am I going to plan to do? What am I going to spend my time on? Do I say yes or do I say no to this? So
yeah.
it's really helped with that. I've been spending more time with my family, with my mom, with my dad, my sister. Um,
Nice.
yeah, and like friends, with some friends that are really close and important to me, and like their kids, that I'm Uncle Steve, and just be like,
Yeah,
yeah, like these are things that are important to me. So it's like I can totally plan to see you guys on Sunday, kind of thing. So yeah,
that's great.
yeah, yeah. So it's
Heck yeah,
good,
man.
man.
Hey, Eric here. Pretty much every person that you've heard on this podcast or you listen to is someone that we work with at Painting Business Pro. We've coached some of them, we've even become business partners with. What we do at Painting Business Pro is help people who are starting or growing a painting company grow an amazing business with great profit while enjoying an amazing lifestyle along the way. And transparently, our goal is that for the right people, we actually end up making a minority acquisition, help you grow your business even further as a partner of ours in our company. If you're someone who's serious about growing your company, living a great life, and you want some help doing it, we love what we do. We're very good at it. We do it in our own businesses right now. Head over to paintingbusinesspro.com and hit apply now. And we look forward to talking with you soon.
Calendar mastery and using your time. I mean, there's nothing too much more foundational than that, to just having a great life, not just running a good business, but just like having a great life. It's super critical. And then if you couple that with being an entrepreneur and having your own business and having marketing and sales and production and financial management and accounting, like, and then everything outside of work, like you've got to, if you're committed to a lot of things and you want to have a full life, then you've just got to plan it. You've got to plot the points on a map.
Yeah,
So
it's so helpful in getting things done. Like one of my life commitments is also health, and I started seeing a personal trainer, which was easy for me. I'm like,
nice.
I can invest resources into this, time, money, because this is important to me, you know. So I'm seeing a
Yeah.
personal trainer,
Yeah.
and one of the things that's really helpful that I didn't expect is I've got he puts like I got like a heart monitor on while I work out, and we watch my heart rate, and like the goal is to kind of keep my heart rate between like 120 and 140. That's like the fat burning zone. You know, you don't want to go over, you don't want it to be
Yeah.
under. So one of the things I didn't expect when it came to like fitness and working out is how important it is to pace myself. And
Mm,
so I'm learning that not just like with working out, but also with mastering my time and my calendar and, you know, setting up appointments. You know, it's also important to rest. Like it's also important
yeah.
to make sure I'm not putting too much in a row, or that I'm like putting spaces there where I can take a break, pick up the guitar and play it, or go on a walk outside, you know, give
Yeah.
myself a little bit of a break, because I can do like work until I'm like boom in the red zone and I'm like burning out. And so that it all helps. It all mixes into help with you know, being a more efficient business owner and just like having a better
Yeah.
life.
Well, and recovery time, it's hard to understate the importance of that.
Hmm.
Having those times in your calendar every day, to get outside, to actually take a real break. And a real break is not social media. It's
Yeah.
not following up on texts and voice memos. It's actually, it could be playing with your kid. It could be, it could be just being outside in nature. It could be, just doing something that's not overstimulating the brain.
Hmm.
Um, and that's a hard lesson for me personally. It's been hard. I'm practicing that right now because I have like breaks on my calendar, but then I use breaks for like the 20 text messages I have on my phone. And that's not a break. That's not a break. That's more work and it's a big cognitive load on your brain.
Hmm.
So I just, I can, I can really, I'm more efficient and I have a higher performance level when I do less work, but have more breaks and do work more intentionally with more energy. So I think it's just a big thing in our culture of like just work your butt off all the time. And it's like you'll still have success if you work hard. You got to have work ethic, of course, but it's like you can do more. The only way to do more and have more results is actually do less. It's a counterintuitive thing,
Mm.
but you've got to actually do less. So the things you're doing, you do super, super well,
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where like what I'm really starting to like see and learn is where I'm at. And you, I feel like
Nice.
you've gotten a pretty good handle on that. I mean, like what have you learned is the
Yeah.
most important as far as like how to use your time most efficiently, like to get the most out of
Yeah.
less.
Well, there's a lot of different things. I don't know if it was before the pod, we were talking about the trade principle.
Hmm.
Um, that's one big one. As a business owner, and for me, so we have 14 companies at National Painting Group.
Hmm.
I have a lot of people that I interact with. And so I have this, probably a list. I could probably list out 1,000 things I could do,
Hmm.
right now, like on a daily basis. But what are the most important things that I'm doing? Because you just can't say yes to everything. You're not infinite. So that's one piece is like, there's a lot of most things I say no to because they're just not the most important thing.
Hmm.
So that's one thing I've had to get really good at is saying no to things that that I even like to do and that are important, but there's things that are more important. And so the trade
Hmm.
principle of always just what are the bottom level things you're doing? Okay, replace those with higher level things. And that's a mountain with no top. If you just continue to work that, that's a big thing. That's helped me a lot. Um, and then the other thing is just like personal growth and development, man. Like I'm just always questioning my beliefs, questioning my capabilities. Like, can I do this better? Is there someone who knows more than me in this realm that I can learn from? Always learning and finding out how I can be better. And Eric, yeah, I mean, there's a reason I'm business partners with him. He's a trailblazer and he's someone always seeking, in trailblazing and finding ways to do things more efficiently, questioning beliefs. And so learn a ton from him always. But that's another, I think that's the piece. If you look at most successful people, they're always learning how to be better in some way,
Mm-hmm.
not just in business, but in some way in their life. Like how can I, where do I believe something? Like where do I have a strongly held belief that's really
Mm,
not serving me? It's not
mm,
serving me very well anymore, which is tough, man. It's kind of like asking yourself to look at it's like, how can I turn fast enough, right, to look at myself? It's not the easiest thing, but it is doable, and so sitting down, journaling is a big
mm.
thing that I do almost every day, having the conversations with myself about myself. There's two of them for you that I do
Yeah.
to answer
I
your
like that you
question.
said, yeah, I like that you said journaling, because that's something that I started doing like a little bit over a year ago. As much as I can, I'm
Nice.
just like, I'll just write, like with sometimes like it's to like set an intention, or like I just found that it
Yeah.
really helps to just write my thoughts out. And like
Yeah.
journaling is so important. And even if I'm like, I want to journal because I've committed to this. If I don't know what to journal about, I'll just start writing by saying I almost didn't journal the day because, and then I'll just keep going and going and going.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm going to use that. That's good. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
definitely the resistance sometimes to journaling, but it always
Yeah.
helps. Sometimes a little, sometimes a lot when you journal.
Yeah.
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 And like the strongly held belief, like that is something that when you mentioned that, like looking at strongly held beliefs that aren't serving you, and like it's like I felt a part of me like kind of shudder thinking about that, because like, oh, like there's almost like this sense of safety. It's like
Totally.
if I'm holding a belief strongly, like what's the reason, like there's got to be a reason for it, otherwise I wouldn't be holding on to it
Yeah.
so strongly. Like what's the fear, like what do I think will happen if I let go of that, or I change that, or I like let go of control of that,
Yeah.
you know?
Uh, totally. Well, I think my what I'll just my belief with that, I guess, is not belief, but just what I think what kind of the neuroscience would say, maybe,
Mm,
or maybe the evolutionary science, but we're our brain is made to survive.
mm,
Like just don't die, basically. We look for negatives way more than positives. Because like way back in the day, it's like, if you're at the watering hole and there's a rustle in the bushes, you're like, shit, that thing could kill me.
mm-hmm.
And so we look for, and then back in the day, we look for food. Like food was important to find food, but we had a much more visceral emotional reaction to like that could be a saber-toothed tiger that could eat me. So I better look out for the bad things more than find the good things. And so what I just connect to with that, because there's always the resistance to stepping outside your comfort zone. It's less so for me because I've done it so much, but it's still there. There's still that initial resistance. It's like, oh, because if I step outside my comfort zone and I fail, my brain computates failure with death,
Wow.
like saber-tooth tiger. And so it's like, I don't want to fail. So let me just play safe and play smaller to survive. So I think that's mostly why for people we're not wired to thrive. We're wired to just like survive today, survive tomorrow.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Survival. That's crazy.
survival, dude. Yeah. So
That's
our brains haven't like caught up yet to the fact that like there's not a saber-tooth tiger,
hmm
outside my door. So our brains haven't caught up to that yet. So it's but we are conscious to it. So that's why journaling works so well, I think, because we can
mm,
consciously choose to override the brain pattern,
mm.
and then go for thrival instead of survival. Just made up that word, thrival. Yeah,
Thrival. Yeah. Why would that not
thrival.
be a word? That's great.
That's a word. We just made
Thrival
it up.
versus survival. That's money.
Yeah,
That's gold. Well, because
that's
like
gold.
it's like when you look at it for what it is, yeah, you're like the brain's saying don't die. Like, and the one specific thing for me in terms of like a belief is like that fear that subcontractors, if I try one out, they're gonna be bad. They're gonna screw me
Yeah,
over. I'm gonna get screwed on a
yeah,
job. And it's like when
yeah,
I'm thinking, okay, I need to call 3 subs today and try to set up an interview with one, call subs until I set up 1 or 2 interviews this week, whatever. That's my goal. And it's like when I procrastinate on that, it's because I'm afraid. I'm afraid because I have this belief that they're going to screw me over. And it's like
yeah,
it's kind of crazy to think the brain is saying don't die.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
no, I'm not going to die. Like we're not going to die if we use the wrong sub. Like, we're not going to die if we try out a sub and the
Right.
job doesn't go well. Like, that's not death. Like, this
Yeah.
isn't like, this is
Yeah.
what we need to do in order to thrive. Like, maybe it'll happen, but like, we learn from mistakes. So it's better to just keep trying, because eventually it's like, instead of looking at it like, what is like the animal with claws in the brush that are going to kill me? It's like, well, what if I get the water from the watering hole and we're all able to like survive and be nourished? It's
Yeah.
like, if I want to scale up as a company, and like, I need a rich roster of subcontractors that, what if I haven't found the best subcontractor yet?
Mm-hmm.
But it's so much easier to look
Exactly.
at it from fear. Yeah. That's
Yeah, it's like, oh, this subcontractor, he's good enough, so I'll go with what I know versus like, let me try a sub that I think could be a lot better,
right. Like, we're safe here.
because you could fail, and you will fail. Is the thing. It's like that helps too. Is like, dude, failure will. If you're not failing, you're not playing a big enough game. So like, you will fail. The question
You,
is like, are you okay with that? And what do you learn from that failure? And how do you, the cliche of failing forward and life begins at the end of your comfort zone, all those things, like they're cliches now, so they don't hold a lot of water, but they do have truth to them, you
yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
yeah,
You can't be afraid of failure, and you can't be afraid of problems, because that's like
no,
what business is all about. That's what owning a
it
business is all
is.
about. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like run too. And for our companies, it's more like let's find the failures. Like let's seek failure out. Let's seek out
Mm,
where we're wrong instead of like waiting for it to hit us. Like what if we were just seeking it and then
hmm
we learn and then we get even better faster that way? So
Yeah.
anyway, I
Yeah.
love that
Yeah.
philosophical combo, but it makes a big difference.
Well,
Um,
it's like everything that I've been like learning and focusing on that's been leading to my success this year, like in business.
yeah, yeah,
you know
totally, dude.
like
Yeah,
with my business plan, like, hey, like it's like, when I'm busy, it's because all my word of mouth and repeat clients have hit me up, and it's like the busy time of year. But then it just like, I'm just kind of going with, what do I need to do? Oh, I'm only averaging like 4 or 5 leads a week. That's a problem. Well, I'm seeing it
yeah,
now, so let's figure out what we can do now to just get that up to where it needs to be. So
yeah,
kind of seeking out the deficiencies, beforehand, and then solving them, seeing them for what they are, rather than reacting
right.
to like the pain that shows up, like when it hits you. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Just if you lean into it, it's a lot less painful for sure. Um, well, this has been fun, man. Hey, real quick, what's the goal for 2026? What's your goals with the business?
Yeah, so I want to be ready for a project manager. Hope, like as far as plans go, we'll see how it goes, but I'd love to be ready for a project manager by spring. Um, the goal is to get to like 15 to 20K a week consistently with sales and production. I want to do, if I can't, like, I wanted to hit the revenue goal of 750. Um, yeah, I do want to get up to like that 1 million mark, but I don't know if that's too ambitious. But like, I feel like 750 would be like a nice jump from 600. But most of all, I just want to like run efficiently. Like, that's kind of where it's at,
Yeah.
is like running efficiently. So like, I'm sure that the revenue numbers will come, the net profit numbers will come, um,
Yeah.
as if I get the processes right. So that's,
Exactly. Good. If I could give you like a little whatever feedback on that.
yeah.
Um, it's good. I mean, you need to have a plan for revenue and plan for profit. So plan those things out, know your numbers in immense detail. Those are all important. But then when you're like playing the game, it's like, well, okay, am I following the systems? Am I solving
Mhm.
the next constraint? Because if you kind of, so to speak, put your head down and just focus on those things, when you look up, you'll just be way past your goals. Like when you're focused on
Nice.
the next thing, right?
Nice.
Solve marketing. Okay. Now create a rhythm with marketing so that it doesn't go down when I need to now hire more subs. Then create a
hmm
rhythm with subs so that doesn't go down when I need to start selling more.
hmm
And so,
Mm.
yeah, I think it's good to have that goal, but 1 million is totally not out of the, I think 1 million could totally be hit. And it's like, could you put some constraints on yourself? Could you say, I'm going to hire a PM in January and that's going to put a constraint on myself called I need to sell now.
hmm
So like, I'm going to hire a PM even if the work's not there yet, because then it's going to make a constraint for me called go market and sell so that I have the work. And that's almost a way to kind of make yourself grow the business, by putting some risk out there.
Mm.
Um,
hmm
so just an idea.
I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Hey, thanks for being on. This was fun.
Yeah.
Are you going to be at you're going to be at the October leadership
Yeah, the
event?
leadership. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Yeah, it's going to be a
Yeah.
good time, dude. That's
Yeah.
a month away. It's crazy.
I know it's coming up fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
gonna
going
be
to be real
great though.
fast.
Yeah, looking forward
Yeah.
to, the brain melding and the
Yeah.
thoughts, the thought
The brain melding.
experiments,
Yeah.
like whatever. Yeah.
It really is, dude. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Yeah. Well, thanks, dude. This was great. A
Yeah.
lot of value for the listeners. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate you being a guest
Yeah.
on the
I appreciate you
PVP
for having me.
podcast.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying the show, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a quick review for the podcast and what you gotten out of it. It helps our show reach more people and inspire more people. Thank you so much.